Week 7 of 260 Minutes Overtime. Between the last video and this one, I actually put tickets for the best of 260 Minutes called No Backup Plan on sale. That's coming up on November 15th. Very excited about that. Some of the stuff I do tonight might make it into that show. We'll see how excited I am about it. There's one thing in particular. There's kind of three big chunks. There's one thing in the middle part that I'm overtly pleased with myself. I shouldn't be this happy about it. I really hope it goes well, but I think it'll just be perceived as a horrible pun. I hope that's not the case though, because I like it a lot. It is kind of a weird opening. I don't know why it's weird. I've been reading a lot of Kurt Vonnegut, and so I'm in like a hopeful but kind of weird place. Because here's the thought that I recently had I'm going to share with you. I'm not suicidal, but. There's a but. If I fell accidentally into a river, I don't know how hard I would fight back. Again, I'm fine. Don't organize things and write letters. I'm fine. I just don't know if I washed up on shore alive how I would feel at that exact moment. I don't know, because I feel as though when I fell in the river, I'd have one of two reactions. Either I'd react and fight for life, or I'd kind of consider it like an exit ramp from nature. You know, it's like you're driving down the highway, you got a half a tank left, but, you know, the top half of the tank is always bigger than the bottom half of the tank. You don't know when the next rest stop is, so you just stop at the one that you see, like it's like a little rest in peace stop type thing. And to be fair, also, I want to make sure you know I'm okay. I don't, tempt fate. I don't go floating down the river in the summer, because then I get asked questions that I don't know answers to. Do you want a life jacket? Do I want a life jacket? It's the law. Irrelevant. That's just to keep me alive to pay taxes. That's not a reason to live, okay? Don't care. I'll tell you what, why don't you push me into the river, and if you see me again, yes, I apparently do want a life jacket. That was a weird thing that popped into my brain. My brains are really good at lying to us and fooling us. Here's a lie that I tell myself probably twice a week when I empty the garbage in my house, because I collect it from all the rooms. And when I empty my roommate's trash can, I have this thought specifically, this lie. Wow, he blows his nose really quietly. It's because I only have two pieces of information at that exact moment. I've never heard him blow his nose, and there's a lot of tissue in there. So I lie to myself so I don't have to go in there in a full body condom. Here's another thing my brain said to me. This happened recently, and I'm not happy about it. My brain said to me, kids today. I'm 29. I am a kid today. It makes me feel so old, and what makes it worse is that it was specifically about music. And that's just the worst thing to be shitty about as you get older. It just changes type thing, and I'm the worst for it. But that is kind of the topic sentence to what I want to talk about, but I changed it so I don't sound so old. So instead of kids today, let's just say, offspring recently have been a little shitty with the music. Now, I should preface this. I am the worst with music. I kind of grew up in a weird bubble of it. I didn't really was exposed to anything. If you weren't Garth Brooks, Meatloaf, or Trooper, I didn't know you existed. I had no idea. The first time I heard the Beatles, I was like, why aren't these guys more famous? No idea who the Beatles was, but I could sing from memory Meatloaf's Paradise by the Dashboard Light when I was 10. 10 years old, a song about teenage sex in a car with varying levels of consent. I knew that off the top of my head, but I was also not allowed to watch The Simpsons. Makes no sense to me. So my opinion is meaningless, but that said, Offspring recently, I think there's this trend now to take old lyrics and put them into new things, which I'm okay with generally, but I think you should maintain the spirit with which the song was written in. There was a song written in the 70s by Elton John that has a beautiful lyric. I heard it last week. I'm playing catch up. It was, you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind. I've put down in words how wonderful life is now you're in the world.
That is Pimpio. That guy must have just crushed all the puss. I can't, like, so friggin' good. Just him and Freddie Mercury out there. But like, I'm a little bit jealous because comedians also can't do that. Like, I can't be like, you know, I hope you don't mind, I put down in words this joke, how wonderful. It ends on a penis thing. I'll just skip ahead. It doesn't matter. But there's a new rap artist whose name is Aloe Black. His first name is Lotion. He's like a hardcore rapper. I don't know why that's a thing. And he's taken a little bit of that lyrics and he's changed it slightly. He's changed it to, you can tell everybody, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Slight transition there over like the last 40 years or so. It went from like, here's a thing for you, to look at me, I'm over here. And it's very strange. And I think it's okay with that, but if you can talk, you want to talk about yourself, use your own words. Like, this guy is so vain, he thinks that song is about him. I was so delighted with myself when I wrote that down. And never again. Never again. To kind of close up my last big thing I want to talk about here today, it's kind of an extension of my regular act. I talk about in my act the day that I was conceived. It was September long weekend in 1984. It was at a baseball tournament. My dad was playing fast pitch in Golden. The game, I don't think the act. Well, maybe, I don't know. I wasn't there yet. It's a weird thing to think about, especially because he's here. All right. But he was there, and I've been telling people about this happening on stage. And a couple weeks ago, I was in Saskatoon, and an old ball player friend of his came to the show and like to see me perform, and he's like, oh, I knew your dad. So I start telling the joke about what happened, and I see this guy lean into his wife and say, audibly enough that I can hear it, I know where that happened. Which means that when my parents came back from the ball tournament, they didn't like tell their friends like, guess what, it's a miracle, we're pregnant, we're so happy. They went to their friends and they said, well, looks like we came back with more than a hangover, huh? I'm more than a hangover. That's very sad. My birthday was actually yesterday, and thank you. I didn't fall in a river yet. That's all that means. And so a friend of mine, because he knows that I like calculating this date, found this great website that has taken like all of the knowledge of the internet and allowed you to enter your birth date, and it tells you the #1 song when you were conceived. So like if there was music, it's most likely the song that was being played on the radio. And I'm going to tell you mine. The #1 song on September Long Weekend 1984 was the theme from Ghostbusters. Which doesn't have a rhythm to me that you can like da-na-na-na-na, and then you gotta scream and yell. And so now to like process that event, I'm just gonna use Ghostbusters analogies. Like there was a gatekeeper and a keymaster, and then there was a big Slimer. Because they crossed their streams. Yeah, they did. You'd think at this point in my career, I would know not to close on a movie from 1984. But that's what I'm doing. Thank you guys very much. That was a lot of fun. Loud, birth is a conscription to life. I said it to a baby's face. I was cute about it. Like I was like,
I would say I'm pretty happy with how all that went. I was having a good time. A couple things got nothing that I thought they would. Maybe the reference was just a bit dated. I actually mentioned the thing that I was really pleased with. That whole "he's so vain, he thought that song was about him." I thought that was gonna get more, but I mean that's another reference from just way too long ago, so maybe not the best choice. I was really happy with how that dark stuff, I consider it darker stuff, went off the top, that I'm not suicidal, but, and the falling in the river and the exit ramp and everything, I really liked how that went over. I was surprised how well that went over. I thought it was like a weird place to start, but they kind of came on board for that. So I'm definitely going to work on that and see if I can maybe expand on that premise a little bit on future shows.